I'm here today at Wycombe Wanderers in Adams Park in High Wycombe, and I've got Liam with me, Liam Orourke. And Liam Orourke is going to be hosting a new show for us called the Chairboys.
Chairboys 24/7.
Chairboys 24/7, which sounds really exciting. Now, Liam and I kind of bumped into each other in High Wycombe, and he decided he wanted to host his own show. So Liam, tell me a little bit about your passion about being here, because you said that you've been here more or less since you were born.
Yeah, literally more or less since I was born. I mean, as soon as I sort of was brought into this magnificent stadium, I was hooked straight away. And sort of as I've grown older and sort of seen many sort of games go by and all that kind of thing, and also built up sort of friendships with all the supporters that sort of sit behind me, many of whom I still sort of keep in contact with, even if I don't sort of see them at a match. It's just that feeling of, it's sort of all, I don't really sort of know how to describe it. It's sort of like a goosebumps kind of feeling, like anticipation of what's going to happen. Especially when I sort of come through the gate to my right over there, it's literally just the massive anticipation. I mean, sat here with nobody really sort of here, it's very surreal, because I've never sort of been in that situation before. But obviously, talking to yourself here today, I can already feel, even though it's not a day where we have a match playing, I can already feel sort of all the emotions and everything,
yeah,
sort of flooding to me, and I sort of have to keep those a bit at bay, because there's no sort of game, no game going on today, and it's all very surreal for me.
As we were saying, this is a community show, and it's here to highlight people, unique people, because we're all unique, and your uniqueness is in the way that you really want to do this. You really want to do this program. So tell me again about the name a little bit. Explain a little bit about the name Chairboys 24/7.
Well, the name, the Chairboys part, comes from the nickname of the actual football club itself. Way back in 1887, when the club was formed, the Chairboys were actually, or the Bodgers as they were called back then, were actually the people who made the chairs that Wycombe was so famous for back then. So the Chairboys were the people who sort of made the chairs, and they were the people that sort of came to the Rye in Wycombe to sort of play as Wycombe Wanderers, way back all those years ago, about 128, maybe 130 years ago.
Because the Wycombe is a furniture place.
Yes,
people used to make that's why.
Right,
okay.
And
so they got this nickname, the football club, did they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right.
And obviously, sort of the Chairboys thing is sort of sounds sort of a bit more up to date rather than the Bodgers. Incidentally, Bodgers, the mascot that we have for the football club, his name is Bodger, and the 24/7 part of the nickname of the name of the program that I want to host is that I will sort of try my best, whether it's through the YouTube videos that we're making, sort of with things like today, or the Twitter page, my Twitter page that I've got, and also my Facebook page that I have for supporters. I'm going to sort of try my best to, with the help of hopefully some other people, to sort of try and keep people in the loop as to what's going on at the club, obviously.
What sort of things do you go on at the club then that you feel that you can pass on to the general public?
Things like whether the club needs volunteers to help clean the stadium. Things like sell the food or whatever at the games on a Saturday or a midweek game or whenever. And things like that really, and also if there's sort of any vacancies within the football club, try and encourage maybe supporters who don't work or would like to work for the football club, to give back, as it were, to sort of encourage them to maybe sort of apply for those vacancies, and sort of help the club build back up again.
So as I was saying before, just to ask you again, do you have any aspirations to play football at all, or how have you felt about that over the years, or is it just a spectator thing for you?
Primarily, when I was a lot younger, I wasn't really because I have a disability. I wasn't really aware of sort of like the boundaries that my disability has within terms of sort of representing the football club out on the pitch that's in front of us here. But I've sort of gone down, sort of put that to one side as I've got older, and I've also sort of found the coaching route, sort of like bringing through young players in and around sort of the village, the town, and around like the surrounding areas. So that's something that I want to do now is sort of forget that I can't play football. I'm completely fine with that now. If you'd have asked me maybe 10, 15 years down the line, I would have sort of not probably been able to even answer your question, to be honest, because I would sort of get quite emotional about that kind of thing. But now I've sort of grown to accept it. And there's other ways of sort of doing things. I can do the coaching thing, like I said before.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I live in a village called Stoken Church, and I've just been given the job of the under-18s, which is the oldest sort of oldest age group before they go into play men's football, sort of adult football, as it were. So really, I'm sort of tasked with the job of trying to bring through the next group of sort of young adults to come and play to hopefully one day come out and run on this pitch, and I can sort of say, okay, well, I'm that player there. I managed to grow into a young man.
So you discovered them, do you? I mean, a bit like a talent scout? Or how does it work?
Yeah, I suppose it's a bit like that. If they're good enough, if I think they're good enough to sort of play at a higher level, I will sort of use the contacts that I've got, such as the football club here, who are renowned to bringing through young players, as they have done for many years. But if there isn't sort of a space for them here, I can recommend them to any club sort of within 20-30 miles from sort of Stoken Church, so that it's not too far from home, for them to sort of travel backwards and forwards and things.
That's very exciting. So do you want to tell us about the process? Maybe we could come and filming you within,
of course,
that context. So how does that actually work? How do you do it?
What we sort of do is we look at the players that we have on the list.
When you say we, is this
me myself? There's a few other people that I've got working with me. It's all on a voluntary basis. There's no money involved for any of us. It's all sort of goodness of your heart kind of thing, and trying to progress things. because it's also junior and young adult football. So there's no money to be made in any of it, because most sort of people at that level have long-term jobs and sort of daytime jobs, if you will.
Sure. So where do you actually meet? What's the name of the place?
It's in Stokenchurch, like I said before. It's a place called Loughborough Park. It's not too far. It's sort of in the middle of Stokenchurch. But yeah, that's sort of the thing we do is we assess like the group that we have, and if there's someone that we feel has a future in the game, we'll sort of try our best to not stand in their way if they get approached by another team, but we make sure that if they are approached by another team that they're offering better than what we have.
Okay.
Yeah, they're offering sort of like better facilities and things like than we have, so that we make sure that they're not going to they're not sort of promised thousands of pounds worth of facilities and stuff at a sort of a semi-pro level, and then they get a garden shed, all that kind of thing.
Protect them.
Yeah, and if they do decide to leave the football club, we do try our best to actually find them or help them find a new team.
So how do you promote yourself? How do these young people know where to go? Say that you have a son, say for example,
of course,
or I presume it's boys only.
No,
do they have female?
We're actually
footballers?
one of the only teams. The age limit was recently changed to what boys and girls can play on the same team as each other, to 18. So we can actually mix in boys and girls right up until the age of 18, which we currently do, and I believe we are. I mean, correct me. You could probably correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody who's watching, we are the only team in the whole of Buckinghamshire that has a girl playing on the same team as the boys at this sort of age group, the under 18 level, because it just doesn't happen. Whether that's because there aren't as many girls sort of in the surrounding area interested in football, or whether they're at college or whatever, or they just don't have time, or even things like literally just like they're not sort of interested really, and obviously boys are sort of brought up with, or most boys anyway, are brought up with football in the background, whether that's with dads, uncles, whatever. Because most, or quite a few people, I should imagine, have sort of got dads or uncles or granddads or whatever who have been involved in football, so they've sort of followed suit, kind of thing.
Sure. So coming back to the process again, we kind of diversified a little bit there. Say you've got a child or a son or a daughter that really is interested. What do they do? How do they approach you? Do you go around the schools, or how does it work?
We come to them. We go to them, I should say. We sort of go to them and advertise that we have positions or space for more players at the football club.
You mean you advertise at the schools?
And sort of social media and all that kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
And sort of businesses that sponsor us. They sort of advertise, and we advertise that we have sort of space available for new players, because the group we have been together since under 8, so it's about 10 years. 10 years that they've sort of been together, and they've come from under 8s all the way up to under 18s.
So what do you call yourselves?
Stokenchurch Youth. Stokenchurch Youth FC. It's a newly.
Stokenchurch Youth FC.
Yeah, Stokenchurch Youth Football Club. We had to sort of change our name. We were provisionally called Stokenchurch Juniors, but we had to change our name because we moved into a new league. and it's called the Youth League. So hence why we had to sort of change our name, because we're not juniors anymore. We're young adults, and we want to sort of be treated like young adults with sort of a more professional kind of name, really.
Sure, and you kind of act as mentors to these young kids that are really interested. Okay, just one more thing,
of course,
before we talk about the actual program you're going to host, is you kind of mentioned boys, girls, and one thing we kind of talked about is that you also host the disability show, which is to support disabled people in the area. But what about kids that are disabled and want to play football? Do you come across that? I mean, obviously, like yourself, young people that are disabled. What can they do? Will they be accepted in the clubs, or do you find that that's an issue? That's
the problem. I say problem, but you tend to find that there aren't sort of that many. There aren't sort of like a group of maybe 10 or 11 children at the same age to warrant having a team, if that makes sense. So obviously, if we were to sort of do like disability football, then we would need 11 players, because it's an 11-a-side game, plus substitutes and all that kind of thing. So realistically, we'd need sort of 15, 16 people, 15, 16 disability football players.
But again,
and there isn't that.
No.
It's very widespread. You sort of get 3 or 4, and they have to be in the same age group.
But could they not become part of the club? I mean,
yes, they could.
But what I'm talking about, what if they've got, if they actually have got the ability and the talent to be really good football players? Because let's face it, a lot of people have got, if they can't use their arms, they can use their legs.
Of course.
And they're very, very powerful.
Yeah.
So what happens if you do get someone?
Well, I mean, if I haven't sort of been approached by been approached by any sort of any footballers or parents that have children with disabilities at the age group that I'm coaching.
You haven't.
I haven't been approached by it, and I don't really know anybody who has a disability that means that they can play football.
Are there no football teams for people who are disabled?
There are sort of football. There are football teams in sort of around the local area, and we do. There are a lot of people in the area that do give up their time, who are registered themselves as disabled. They give up their time to actually sort of coach these guys and sort of do disability football sessions with these people.
So if someone came to you, you would be able to tell them where to go to find something like that.
Definitely.
Well, that's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming back to the Chairboys 24/7.
Of course,
So what do you plan to do? This new show, what's it going to be about? How are you going to run it? And what kind of people are you going to be interviewing?
Okay. Well, it's open to absolutely anybody. Supporters, people who work in the offices, the coaching staff of the football club, even the groundsman that's doing the grass behind us, in front of us, sorry. It's open to anybody related to Wycombe Wanderers, whether it be past, present, or even future, fans, whatever, to predominantly supporters, because we want to do like a monthly, maybe or twice a month program where we update supporters on what's going on, and it's going to be a free service, so there won't be any sort of charge. So if you don't sort of have access to the Chairboys, there's a facility called the Chairboys Player, where they sort of do like interviews and things on there. But if you don't sort of have the funds to do that kind of thing, but you have access to the internet and you have YouTube and all that kind of stuff, there's going to be the facility there for supporters to actually have like a behind the scenes view of what goes on, throughout the working week. Any sort of, hopefully any sort of breaking news that happens, we can try and bring that to you.
Very exciting.
As best we can, and maybe sort of interviews with, or hopefully interviews with potential new signings that come in. So any new players that join the football club, and sort of anybody literally that's around the football club that's able to sort of spare their time to just sort of fill us in with what actually goes on in the week at the football club.
Well, that's great. I mean, it's a very exciting new programme where you're going to get an insight into Wycombe Wanderers and the people that are involved, the spectators, hopefully the players, as we say.
Yeah.
Who knows, maybe a celebrity, David Beckham will pop in.
Well, you never know. Never say never, Laurene.
We never say never. But obviously you can find out all about this if you keep tuning in to movingontv.uk. That's on YouTube. And also you can contact, if you want to be involved, please contact Liam.
Yeah.
So how do we get in touch with you, Liam?
I'm on Facebook, Liam Orourke, and I'm also on Twitter at Liam Oace35. That's O for octopus, not the 0. So you can contact me on any of those, and I've also got a YouTube channel. Liam Orourke is my name on there. You can also contact me on there, and if you're interested, then come along. We'd be happy to sort of interview you.
So we're going to be doing the interviews here at Wycombe Wanderers. So if you contact either myself, as I said, you can email me at Laurene, Laurene, at movingontv.uk. Or you can contact Liam on Facebook, or you can go on Moving On TV on Facebook or Twitter, at Moving On TV on Twitter, and you can get us. And if you want to come onto the programme, that's what it's all about. Moving On TV is here for the community, run by the community, and we'd be very happy to have you. So we're
sorry, Laurene. I'd just like to actually take this opportunity to thank yourself. For agreeing to actually to give me this avenue for and the supporters of this football club an avenue to sort of get their point across and whatever, or sort of express any views they have, and I'd just like to thank you for that opportunity, because I don't think there's anybody around here that would do that kind of thing. So thank you very much. It's absolutely brilliant.
You're welcome. And actually we're sitting, just wanted to say that we're sitting in your seat.
Yes, these.
Which is number
51 and 52.
51 and 52. And how long have you had this seat? Just for the record, how many years have you been sitting in this seat?
These seats were originally bought, or were originally booked by my mum for me about 5 or 6 years ago, and obviously you have to keep registering every year. And this year will be the 6th year that I've had these 2 seats. Quite sad, I know, but to have the same seats for 5 or 6 years. But I've seen a lot of glory, a lot of sadness, and hopefully I'll see a lot more glory than sadness in the future. So.
Well, I mean, I'm not exactly, I shouldn't say this, but I know nothing about football and I have absolutely no empathy with it. My husband does. But through doing this programme, it's really good viewing. You're right literally on the pitch, aren't you?
Yeah. Okay, so hello guys. This is where I was first brought to come and sort of see and sample the atmosphere of the football club. Behind us, or behind Laurene, is the tunnel where the players come out onto the pitch and get ready to come and play.
Keep talking. This is where the players.
Yeah, this is roughly. Just a bit further down here is sort of where I was first bought, or even before I was born. When my mum was pregnant with me, actually, she used to come and stand along here, quite close to the dugouts here where the manager stands and all of his coaching staff stands. Used to sort of come here, come and stand roughly where I am, or maybe a bit further up. And yeah, literally just sort of down here a bit, and she used to stand here quite freely.
And you were how old?
I don't even think I was actually born. I mean, I was just thinking about it on the way up, here from the other side. I wasn't actually born. Certainly when she stood here, because back then there was sort of, you had freedom to sort of move around the whole of the stadium. But as sort of things come and go, and sort of safety regulations come in and all that kind of stuff, she sort of, I think she gradually moved towards the standing end over there, just as in the Buxton University stand over there. Yeah, she went over there, and then suddenly, as I sort of became older, and then she had my brother and sister.
Okay.
She certainly she stopped sort of coming that regularly. She has come to a few games in between sort of now and then, and we've been sort of over there really.
And now you're over there.
Yeah, now we're over there, or I'm certainly over there. Number 51, number 52,
which we've just come from.
Yeah, 5 years, 6 years, I think this year we'll be in that seat, and looking forward to hopefully many more years, whether it be in those seats or maybe move somewhere else, I don't know. Depends on how lucky they are.
Right. Well, so every Saturday, this is the walk you do?
Yeah, sort of every other Saturday. I mean, I'll get dropped off just outside the ground. If no one's sort of coming with me, and then I'll walk just from up there all the way down here at about 2:15, maybe 2:20, ready for, and sort of go in there. There's usually a bit of a queue sort of getting into the stadium, but that's to be expected.
Sure.
So yeah, usually like sort of 2:15, 2:20, get up here, and go in really, and get ready for what's to come.
Okay.
The lift that we use.
What floor are we going to?
Floor number 1, just take you up to the next level, and then we'll sort of go out onto the top, and we'll see where the boxes are. We're going to box number 1.
Box number 1.
Box number 1. There's about 20 boxes at the football club, and here we are.
And that's where we're going to be running the show.
Yes,
hosting the show.
Hopefully, box number 1 or number 2 at least will be ours to use.
Great. Which are empty at the moment, obviously.
Yeah, they're empty during the day. And then they'll sort of be people coming in and out every so often, literally every so often, coming to use the boxes for meetings and offices and stuff, and then obviously we're going to use it as a TV studio.
Great. Well, there you go. Couple of pictures.
As you come through, you'll see loads of paintings that were done by local school children of various sort of events that happened, or games that have happened at the football club over the last sort of 10 years, or every so often really, and yeah, so let's go and have a look, shall we?
Sure, yeah.
The first one, incidentally, here was Wycombe against Chelsea in 2006.
Okay.
This was actually at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea's stadium, when we played them 2006 and 2007 in that season.
Great.
The great Frank Adams. He played worked for the club. I think he even managed the club at some point. He's currently not with us, sadly. And we have a stand here and also a stadium that was named after him, as he donated. He actually donated this stadium to us.
Right.
This is box number one.
This is box number one.
Number one, the players' families will usually come in here, sort of pre-match and also post-match after the game.
It's like the green room.
Yes, essentially, yeah. So all the players who aren't involved in the game will be situated in here, or certainly out on the seats just next to us here.
Wonderful.
Just in front of us here. This room and box number two that's next to us, next door on the other side there, is going to be the rooms that we're using for interviews and sort of the TV channel itself.
Brilliant.
This is the first show of Chairboys 24/7, a show that's going to be here at Adams Park. We're currently in box number one, which is the box which is used for all the players' families and things, and whoever isn't involved in the game. This is going to be where we'll be, or next door in the other box. I'm currently joined